Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela, I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady, and welcome back to today's Whips, Bits and Chat. This is episode 159. Oh, a lot's gone on. Right, go on, let's go and see what I got for you today. Okay, so today's going to be a little bit busy with videos that I've managed to put out because guess what? I managed to get 3 standalones and a live. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to link some of those videos in the description box down below, and others will be in the I button along with other things that I speak about today. It's just going to be me working out which ones I think you'll find interesting as to which ones go in the I button. They'll be the interesting ones and the other ones will be in the description box down below. Right, okay, so let's start with the video roundup. Right, so if you haven't seen it already, we had a tutorial go out this week, which is for the Rosy Posy Cup Coaster. Yes, I read it off screen. I am a cheat. Oh, and here it is. Now, this is the little cup coaster. This is what you're left with once you lay out flat. Really lovely, really quick, and quite an easy pattern to do. You'll have these whizzed up really quickly. Later on in the video, I'll be showing you some photographs from our gorgeous crazies that have already done it and already sent them in, sent me in pictures. Now it's also really good as something maybe you could enter into Crafty Moo Sarah's Flower Power Cow. I'm not hashtagging it or anything like that. Some of you guys and girls know that I'm doing that cowl as well and I'm joining in with it. Others of you didn't know I'm doing it. So I spoke to Sarah before I put this out and said, Sarah, what do you think? Would this be a nice little pattern? And she said, yes, brilliant, that's lovely. So Sarah has all the details and she'll be shouting it out or showing it off later on in the month when she shows this month's entries, because hey, guess what, this was mine. Okay, so the other thing you can do with this pattern, or even just as a packaging for when you hand it over to someone, is to create this little posy like this. It just takes an extra bit of ribbon and a little bit of stuffing, or of course you could pop something else in there. Whether it be a little bit of stuffing with some fragrance on it so you can turn it into a room fragrancer, or even for your car, or maybe even one of those little wild seed balls that you can sometimes get in some specialized shops, or just another little gift that you wanted to hand over to that special person that is getting this cup cozy. Okay, sorry, cup coaster. I'm getting so confused because that's the cozy posy and there's a cup coaster, so it's very confusing. Okay, so that tutorial went up this week. If you're not keen on that one, don't panic. In a week and a bit's time, there'll be another cup coaster come out, which is a complete, a very similar pattern, but with completely a different floral design on it. And I'm not telling you any more than that because I'm a teasing evil wench. Right, okay. The next video that went up was a book review, and it's Knitting Loves Crochet by Cindy Jensen. It's something a little bit different. Of course, this is primarily a crochet channel, but I know that some of us are I can't think of the term that we all use, but you like to do knitting and crochet, and I thought, well, do you know what, let's break up from seeing origami books and other things like that, and let's have a quick look at that one. Not only that, my library's running out of books. So yeah, you got stuck with the one that's Knitting Loves Crochet. It's a really lovely book. It's a lovely idea, and to be honest, we could use some of the things within that book. We can use some of the ideas in that book to incorporate crochet onto other pieces of clothing. Say you pop to a shop and you find a t-shirt that's the right shape for you, or nearly the right shape, but it's not quite long enough. You could use those ideas to add crochet to the bottom of that top to make it longer. I might have to do that because quite a lot of my t-shirts are a little bit too short. You could also use it to add crochet around the sleeves of clothing like that, and of course you could add it to jeans, leggings, trousers, you name it. So the ideas in that book would really work if you only crochet. Okay, I went on about that a little bit longer than I thought. The next video up was a Throwback Friday. Crikey, there was some weird stuff in there. It's definitely worth a look and a laugh and a giggle at what I was making and how I was last year, or whenever I nabbed them videos from. And then the last thing up was a surprise live. Actually, it wasn't the last thing up, it went out on the 7th, but it was a June surprise live. And where are you all hiding? Oh, I had fun trying to get that photograph for the thumbnail. I was going to use 2 hands, but then realised how was I going to push the button to take the photo. I even had my leg up on the table at one point and then thought, no, and don't be so daft. But we had an absolutely lovely time there, and crikey, I talked and talked and talked, so much so I nearly lost my voice. That was a lot of talking. I'm not used to it anymore, am I? I pop up onto Ursula's live every now and then, which is she's OMG a Granny Square, and I pop up onto her live every now and then and show people what I'm up to, her subscribers, what I'm up to and things like that. But normally she chats as well, so I don't have to do all the filling in and leave massive caps. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully some of you have popped in and had a look at it. If you haven't, it's in the I button up here. By all means, pop me on a times 1.5 if you still want to understand me. If you want to laugh at my squeaky voice, what was it, not the 1.5 but the 2.0 speed, it's hilarious. I sound like a decapitated chipmunk. Right, so before you guys start asking me, where on earth has that top that you're wearing come from, Poppy? Or Angela, or depending on what name you're calling me today. Okay, so this one is in the new Tried and Tested Patterns from Other Creators playlist. It is called the, I've lost it already, there we go. Blowers a Crochet Pattern, How to Crochet Summer Top, and it is by Interlink. I'll put the name on screen, but basically it's a really lovely top that I used what was it, Papaya Sunday for. Oh crikey, I can't believe I remember that, and quite a small hook as well, and it took me quite a while to do, so I was talking about it for quite a while on the Whips, Bits and Chats, but it was from over 2 years ago. So I thought, do you know what, I'm going to try it on this morning because the weather here is so hot. So I tried it on, it still fits. Well, the top half does. I'm not showing you the bottom because it doesn't cover it. But yeah, so it was a really lovely pattern to do. It was challenging for its time, as far as I hadn't been crocheting for a massive amount of time back then, and I certainly hadn't tackled a lot of clothing. But as you can see, with a little bit of colour coordination, it worked up wonders, and I absolutely loved it. The only drawback for me is it sits off the shoulder. I would like it to be a little bit more enclosed nowadays, but as I'm only wearing it around the house and on YouTube, I'm fine with it. Right, the next pattern up that you can see in the background is this one here. It is the Pride bucket hat. Now I've brought this one back out to show you in case you haven't seen it before, because of course this month is Pride Month. Yay! So yeah, that is the Pride bucket hat. There is a written pattern over on Ravelry, and there is also a tutorial here on YouTube as well. And this one here is the Jumping Jacks jumper. Now this is only available at this moment in time as a written pattern. It does have video tutorials that go along with it, but they have not been released on the channel as yet. I'm not too sure when I plan to do that actually. But if you like the look of this one, of course the pattern is over on Ravelry, and there will be a link on the end screen and also a link in the description box to the Ravelry shop. And last but not least, the Little Birds C2C cushion cover. Now that one, the tutorial for that is out on the channel now. There is a written pattern that is available over on Ravelry, so if you don't want to have to sit there and write down all the box counts row by row, I would suggest you pop over and grab that pattern. Now, within that pattern, you also get directions on how to make a blanket. Now, the blanket, of course, is a lot larger. Oh, and I've put it away. Okay, but the blanket itself is a lot larger. It is 4 squares, the one that I've made. Of course, you can upsize it and make 6, 9, 12. However you want to organise it, you can do that. And the written pattern also comes with instructions about how to do the border for both the blanket and the cushion, and it comes with a video tutorial for that one as well. Actually, within that pattern it's got something like 8 links to 8 videos for you. So of course you've got the ones that are already up on the channel, which is how to do make the bird panel. There's also the bit about how to make the stripes if you fancied putting stripes on your blanket or cushion cover. Also, there is the join to go method. If you're making it all in one go, it saves you having to add extra rows of this, that and the other. It means you can just work on the little bird panel and then work up from that. And there is also, of course, the videos on how to do the border. I think I've covered everything, probably not, but again, the pattern for that one is over on Ravelry. Okay, so have you sneaked a peek in the background and seen somebody that I was talking about last week? Here he is. It's the cheeky snowman pattern. Now remember, the link for this guy is in the tried and tested playlist. Now I'm saying it like that because I cannot pronounce his channel name, but you will see the picture and he does look similar. Okay, the face is a little different, but he does look similar. So here he is, all finished, done and dusted. So this was the one I was speaking about last Sunday. He was done with, what were you done with? 2 strands? Yeah, 2 strands of the Aldi Aran weight yarn on a 5mm, I think it was, a 5mm hook. He worked up really lovely and quickly. It was just a case of having to sew him all together and put his face on, which is what takes me the most amount of time. I hate sewing on because that's normally when the head becomes wonky and the feet don't match, but or the feet end up one over here and one over there. I'm actually holding them together because yeah, his feet go like that, but he does sit nicely. So that was him. So I finished him up, what was it, Sunday, like Sunday evening. He was done, he was dusted, so I was really chuffed with that. But he was not big enough for what I wanted to do, which was make him into a doorstop. Now I've got this bag of stones. It might sound strange. I've got this bag of stones and I brought these stones about a year ago, year and a half ago, something like that, solely to use as a doorstop weight because of Liam, the puppy, who's not a puppy but acts like one. I had a feeling that he may try and take the snowman doorstop and sort of run off with him. So I thought if I can weight it down, it'll make it, 1, it'll work and it will hold the door open. 2, it will stop Liam. And if I had used a food base like a rice bag or something like that, then he would have been more likely to sniff it out and try and chew off the bottom of the snowman. So I started working it again, but this on the snowman pattern, but this time round I used 3 strands of DK. Now I've not DK, sorry, Aldi weight yarn, and I used a 6mm. Yeah, I used the 6mm, which is a J hook. Now I worked and worked and worked, but there's this method that I've seen where you make your slip knot as normal, but then you pull the slip knot out a little, and then you pull your yarn through the slip knot, and you just keep pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling till you've got tons of it. right, sitting on the side by the side of you. And then you start crocheting, and you hold both strands of the loop that you've pulled plus your working yarn. Okay, so you hold all of that together, and then you make a new chain and or magic circle or whatever you're doing, and then you work off it like that. And then when you get to the end of the loop that you'd created, you just grab your working yarn again and put it back through and pull through loads again, and then you carry on going. So that's what I did, and this guy was made. And so as you can see, he is a little bit larger, not major. Oh, I'm trying to get it so that you can see him. Right, that one. Yeah, no, Mr. No Legs is the largest, is the larger one, and this one here isn't. Okay, so as you can see, it has upscaled the pattern quite nicely, but of course I forgot what I was doing because I got so carried away and was having so much fun that I closed his base up. Now this one does actually sit quite nicely flat on the floor, which is what I wanted, but I didn't have the stones. So I was like, right, what can I do? What can I do? So I grabbed my yarn again, and I'd already made my feet as well. So I grabbed my yarn again, and I started the pattern from the bottom. Now this one works from the top down, not the bottom up. Okay, so I found out, well, I worked through the pattern to the section where it said increase to started decreasing, so then I knew my stitch count. So then I started increasing until I got to the same stitch count, and then I worked up as well. But this time round I've actually added in what are they, back post, yeah, a round of back post single crochet, so that it gives me a totally flat bottom. It does give this little ridge here, but that's going to be fine. Once you're sitting on the ground, it's not really going to be seen. Now what I've also done is I kept working up until, of course, the legs would fit, and I had an extra round above them. Okay, so then I sewed those on. It's so much easier sewing on amigurumi parts like this, although to be honest, his legs are still a bit on the wide front. And then my theory is to grab a piece of plastic or a piece of card and hot glue the stones to it, and then place those in with maybe a little bit more stuffing on top, and then sew it on. Okay, but leave this section here open and not attached, so that when it needs to go in the wash, which of course it's going to have to, when it needs to go in the wash, I can just take the stones out from that section and then shove it in the wash, and then put the stones back once he's dry. So what I did was I added an extra little chain loop. Now I'm planning to actually use buttons on this guy, so it means then once his bum is on, I'm gonna have to do it like that, once the bottom is on and it's all sewn round, then I can place a button where it needs to be to hold this one on, and then of course the next button up will be decorative. So I was planning to finish this before recording the video today. Okay, now as I said, I planned to hot glue. So out came the glue gun. It sat there and I had to wait a while. So while I was waiting for it to heat up, I got some cardboard out of my recycling pile and cut a disc out. It was really easy. I just used a pipe mug and drew around the pipe mug, and that fitted really lovely in this base. Okay, so going to the lounge where I've got a marble what's it called, marble fireplace, there we go, because I found that is the best place for me to hot glue, because if the glue gets stuck anywhere, it means I can chip it off and I haven't got to worry. Okay, so I started hot gluing these, well, I laid them out and then I started hot gluing them, and I was pretty chuffed because they all seemed to be stuck quite well until I lifted, well, not all of them, half of them, and then I lifted it and they all fell off. Yeah, all bar one anyway. Yeah, so look, that's how easy it is. Did you see that? That was how easy it was for them to come off. So yeah, I'm back to the drawing board with that idea. I'm thinking probably just find a pouch. I'm sure I've got some sort of little mini pouch here somewhere that I can just fill with stones and stick in and do it that way instead. But I was hoping that I would have a couple of layers of stones on there, But yeah, that didn't work. So back to the drawing board. You'll get to see him again hopefully next week when he's properly finished, and he'll be weighing quite a bit hopefully, so my arms may fall off. Okay, so hubby is at home today. He's got lots of work meetings, and because of that I've had to stop and start the recording of this video to ensure that nothing he says comes over my videos unless I want it to. And because of that, it's meant that I've been able to finish said snowman. So here he is. Okay, ends still need to be cut, and he does weigh a ton, and I think I need to reduce the amount of stones in him. But here he is, all done and dusted and finished. Yes, he has got a very strange elongated body now. And no, he hasn't got his button attached yet. But here we go, and this is what he looks like, all finished, done and dusted, and I've sewn his legs around wonky. Okay, looks like I'm going to have to undo him and start again. Nah, forget it. He's cute like this. Okay, so for me, as I said earlier, I've told you how I made this second section, and then all I've done is sewn around by working through the post of the top stitch, going one way, then coming down and working through the post on the bottom section that I want to use, and jumping back up to where the stitch, where my sewing needle came out, to then go back in to the neck under for the next post, and doing the same backwards and forwards all the way around. Yes, it has left him with a little, what could we call it, a belt I suppose. My sewing's not brilliant, and there's probably a way to easily do this where it can be disguised, but to be honest, that's going to be sitting against the door, so am I really worried? No. Does he look a bit skewiff now I've seen him on camera? Yes. Am I going to undo it? No. This is it, done, dusted and ready for Christmas. But next time round I'll do a better job, as we all know. Okay, so that now means that short stuff can come down here, and oh, the almighty can jump up there. Crikey, he's massive. He's nearly the same, well, he's the same size as the vase that I've got. Oh, it's a bit high. Right, so that is it for my crocheted items this week. There wasn't a great deal. Well, there was 2 amigurumis that were finished, so that's not bad for me. I've got quite a few projects that of course I need to properly finish off, like the bags and things like that, because the other one that I've got, which is using our Courtney at Fiberfox Studios. I've used one of her mosaic patterns. Well, I've actually used 2, and I've got a bag that I need to put together with lining, so that's the job I've got to do this week. I'm not looking forward to it because it's hand sewing again. I'm not the best at hand sewing, but I've got to give it a go, haven't you? So hopefully next week I will have those properly done and completed for you. But of course the pattern for this one is already in the playlist, and I can only put one of the mosaics in the playlist because the other one is part of a pattern bundle that she has on her Etsy shop. Oh, I got it around the right way today. So if you want to have a nose at Fiberfox Studios Etsy shop, that will be in the link down below. She's got some absolutely wicked patterns there. Let me just quickly quickly show you. The patterns that I used were, it was, oh, where is it? Pattern, I think it's pattern 20. Stay up there, you. Where are we? Yeah, pattern number 22 knots. But as I said, it is a group of 4 patterns. I've chosen to use 2. The first one being this one, and the second one is this one. But what I'm going to do is when I go to put it all together, there will of course be a tried and tested video that comes out where I explain how I made it the way I made it. Okay, so that will also give you how many repeats, how many chains I started with, my repeats, the yarn, and all the extra information, because of course it's a newer project. So as I make a newer project, that's what I plan to do with the tried and tested series. So you'll have a little video that's tried and tested, and there'll be all of the details in there so that I can refer you to those if I need to, because we all know that my brain is a marshmallow and doesn't like, but mine doesn't like holding its shape and working properly, so it's like a toasted marshmallow. Now it's time for the bestest bit of the video. It is your photos. So I was really lucky this week. I got 2 messages that come through, one on Facebook and one via email, containing images. So the first person to get their photo in this week was Sabrina Mellinger. She was super speedy with her crochet hook. She had this photo to me by dinner time the same day that the tutorial went out. She's used an array of different colours, because there's not one that goes to, there's not even 2. I'll let you count. She's been back crazy. And then on Wednesday morning, poof, a message comes up in my email from a cheeky Sam at Manford Makes, and she's sent me some photographs as well of her take on this pattern. So let's see what colours she chose. Thank you ever so much, girls, for joining in and getting those photos to me ASAP. I am so chuffed that I had photos to show this week. So make sure, if you haven't come across those 2 girls before, go and check out their channels. Their links will be in the description box down below. They both have content on their channels and it's super cool. Now, if you haven't had a chance to take a photograph of your finished one of these yet, or of course you haven't got around to making it, don't panic. If you plan to make it as soon as you can or when you can, and make sure you take photographs and fire me over an email. My email is in the description box down below. That way, not only do I get to see it, but if it's okay to share your photo, other crazies will get to see your work as well on a future Whips, Bits and Chat. Right, that is it for me for today. I really hope you've enjoyed the content, and I will catch you again really soon. So please remember, stay chilled, stay happy and keep crafting. Goodbye everybody.